people just feel a sense of being lost, there's a need to find a still point, a center which kind of holds them together.
Deeply needed in our world today is a sense of spirituality. Religious life is more relevant today than it's ever been.
The relationship with others is extremely important to us. The way we bring God's Spirit to them wherever they are.
We can bring to the world a sense of awareness, a sense of simplicity, a sense that God is in everything.
I knew that wherever I was, there were at least 2 people praying that I would do whatever the Lord wanted me to do. All of us, as members of the congregation, know that there is power generated here at St. Rose. I'm going to come here and continue that ministry for the younger members. I will be able to be the power to fuel their energy. I think it's unique. There was no other congregation that had adoration 24/7, but we have had it continuously since 1878. The world needs peace. The world needs forgiveness. The world needs healing. And I see the presence of the Lord, as Francis would say, the presence of the Lord brings peace, and God is in all of creation. And where creation is hurting, we need to bring the healing power of God.
My ministry here, really it's threefold. I administer the parish of St. Alexander's, finances, budgeting, anything that has to do with liturgy and formation. I also do the faith formation of our young people and also the adult education. All people that I'm called to minister, all of them are important to me, no matter if they're young, old, rich, or poor.
Sister Catherine is a very good leader. She's very committed to the mission of the church to help the parishioners to love God and to love people and help people around them. And I think that she has a very strong sense and feeling for that mission. She does it extremely well.
I am fulfilling my dream in pastoral ministry, healing and rejoicing and supporting, and that's priestly. So that's my joy, and I really love my people, and I think they love me.
The sisters in their tradition have had a high interest in art, and that includes the music and the visual arts and performance, the drama. My ministry basically is working at the Spirituality Center at Marywood, and when I work there I'm doing a lot of art programs, teaching people art and also connecting it with spirituality. And the other ministry I have is to produce art. That beauty is a part of what our souls need. The process of doing art to me is a lot like prayer. The art gets through to other people the way that words might not. I do a lot of art that expresses what I see in nature, and I think that's very Franciscan.
I was a naturalist, a National Park Ranger naturalist, and worked in Great Basin, Everglades National Park, Ozark National Riverway. So I experienced how we continually change our environment. Marywood here is a space for people to relax, to put aside their busyness, their treadmill life, and slow down. Here is creation having so much to teach us. To spend my time and energy to invite people to gratitude and thanks and awe. That's what I can do to contribute. Being a part of FSPA frees me to be true to my spirit, to be true to my soul, my connection with God, my way of expressing who God is in my life and in my relationship. And I'm not alone. God permeates who we are. Francis recognized that and named it. We are one with earth, one with air, one with fire, one with water. We know that what we love, we take care of, we protect.
My ministry today is as a family nurse practitioner. This is an inner city, underserved population, very diverse. Majority of them are women and children. I think people probably mirror Christ for me here more than they have in a lot of other places. Some days it's a lot of advocacy for people in just getting their basic needs met. Being politically involved, helping people access other areas of healthcare. As a religious woman, I think this is one of the things that we need to be about, is to work with the underserved, to provide healthcare for the underserved, to give people that moment of grace which occurs within an encounter with a religious that helps brighten their day and makes their life better. And I think when you have that mission in your heart and in your head, that every time you come to the table, that's what you bring. The whole notion of my life is to be of gratitude. And that's what adoration is for me. It's a good day today. Every day is a good day. There's joy in life.
Cabrini House is transitional housing for men and women who are in recovery from chemical dependency treatment or hospitalization for mental illness, who are getting their lives back together, getting their lives on the track where they want them to be. It's mostly helping people to find the voice inside and helping people to connect with the resources and the possibilities. U.S. society is so much geared toward power that people who don't have a lot of power are the ones who need some attention. I think I'm one little speck of doing that, but altogether we have an effect that we wouldn't be able to have individually.
Sister Patricia is a program assistant here at Cabrini House. There's a non-busyness that allows for a full presence. I'll hear stories from the residents. What I hear is she listens to us, she interacts with us, she's with us.
Sisters do it in our own specific way. We do it by living in community and praying in community, doing work that makes a difference to other people.
The Cameroon Common Venture has evolved to 4 congregations internationally now, where there's mutual help and support and enrichment in trying to respond to the needs of the time. Since we started working with them, we've been able to do some networking here in the United States to even provide help for them to build a pharmacy at one of their hospitals, where the pharmacist there was making medicine, and now they're distributing the medicine around the country. So they're doing it. We're working with things that are basic. We are Franciscan. We're all wanting to serve the people and do what we can to help. I hear the sisters talk about gaining an appreciation and understanding of somebody from another culture in a way that they never could just by reading about it in a book or seeing it on a movie or something like that. Just opened their eyes to so many other kinds of ways of looking at the world, looking at spirituality. I think it's given us more of a confidence that we can speak about international affairs, because we know anytime we can do something to help somebody help themselves, we're doing good for many, many people. And gaining an appreciation, an understanding of someone who's different than us can only be beneficial to the world.
Many people are afraid of religious life because they think it is so structured and so forbidding, and that religious life is a life filled with love and expectations and real life, as most people are living.
Well, I think it's really important in any way that you're trying to live a Christian life to pay attention to what God's will is. God has a plan for each one of us, and it's about discovering that and following that and being open to whatever those possibilities could be. I've been open to the idea since I was a little girl, but I've been discerning it more seriously since I started college.
We take time for prayer, for contemplating, but we're also very much of an action community. We spread out. We've been out in the world where the call is, we're not afraid to go, and we do go.
Well, I think the gospel is a pretty wild and crazy challenge.
You know, when you say being wild and crazy, many people think I was wild and crazy at the age of 78 to go to China by myself too. And I went, and I loved it. You know, and yes, we can do those wild and crazy things as we answer God's call. When I was in China, I was alone, but I felt very connected because I knew that people here were thinking of me, praying for me, and being with me. I felt as I was part of a community, part of a loving group of women who cared about me and would do what they needed to do to help me. I'm a part of a group of people who have the same belief, the same commitment. Not that we walk in the same straight, narrow line, because we don't. We spread out. We're individuals. We don't give up our individuality because we have come to community.
Recognizing the gifts and the strengths and the weaknesses and helping each other to grow and relying on each other. It's feeling needed and it's being needed and it's needing others and realizing you can't do any of it without that strength. Well, she's what gives me hope. If the fact that the community has let her be who she is and allowed her to go where she's called to be gives me a lot of encouragement that I will also be able to go where I am called to be. I'm all about social justice and I'm all about systemic change, and I was really looking for a community that was prayerful but yet really progressive and prayerful simultaneously and had that mix of contemplation and action. And I really think that this, FSPA has that great ability to be with the Spirit, to listen, to discern, to be a woman of prayer, but yet to be aware of the world. I'm carrying around a lot of thick, heavy doubt right now, and so it challenges me to get through that doubt and to be at peace with it and that sort of thing, and know that it's real.
It's real and it's necessary because you need to work through that. Keep praying. To be open. You can't skip over it. Just be with it, and you'll know. I come from a family of 11. So I always said, I'm going to get married and have 12 children. I'm going to be better than my mother. I'm going to have 12 of them. Well, no, I didn't have 12 biological children, but I had thousands of children because I worked with children so much of my life. I worked in pediatrics for 15 years. Then when the Hmongs came to this country, I worked with the Hmongs. There were 4,000 people went through the Indo-Chinese screening clinic during the time. And the majority of those were children. Each one of us as sisters can change the world. My philosophy is if I love you and you love somebody else and somebody else loves somebody else, we're changing the world.
I have to throw away my stereotypes, and I head into it with prayer and with an openness, that openness I think is really key. And And that's where you'll find the freedom.
I was first taught by the FSPA when I was 14. I teach in one of their sponsored institutions, and I'm also an affiliate of the community as well. An affiliate is someone who shares in their life, the vision, and the mission of the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration, and wants to formalize that commitment to that mission. What that primary relationship with the sisters has taught me and formed me is even maybe a deeper word than taught to understand, is that those relationships have to be filled with integrity, they have to be filled with kindness and with goodness. Place of Grace is a Catholic worker house. We have focused on hospitality and on providing meals and housing for folks in La Crosse. The primary work of the Place of Grace, however, is to offer personal hospitality to our guests and to see each guest as the person of Christ. The sisters are a bridge in so many ways between so many others to make that kind of a transforming impact on the world. I really believe that I would not have the ideas around reverence and respect, that I would not feel committed to listening to those without a voice. I would not be committed to worship and celebration that changes people's lives without the FSPA. I really believe that those relationships and that formation from them had an impact on me that no other community could have.
When people come here, they'll tell me on a regular basis that it feels different here. And I think a lot of that is the Franciscan spirit. Healing, or the healing act, needs to involve mind, body, and spirit. The healing arts are tied into a spiritual presence, to a higher power.
Sponsorship begins with God, and it ends up in our hearts. We ask all of our employees to understand what the Franciscan tradition is about. We ask them to contemplate the Franciscan values and to make an application of those values wherever they are within the institution. Those values of respect, continuing to learn more, gazing upon Christ within the patient before them, living simply, and giving what we have from our own inner resource, which is perhaps the greatest resource that we have.
The values, the mission, that's an essential part of orientation for all employees. The Franciscan Sisters are still here. It's a powerful, palpable presence. I think you could ask many people through the organization to get that same answer.
Sponsorship is all about something that's bigger than ourselves. It's something that we cannot do alone. If it were not for the relationship that we have with people in the institutions that we sponsor, who now number close to 6,500, our service to the world would be diminished without them.
I am one of 200 affiliates who are FSPA affiliates, and one of over 100 prayer partners. My schedule gets me there in the very early morning on a Wednesday so that nothing conflicts with it. It's just really a good grounding for me each week. Prayerfulness and adoration of the Eucharist does bring peace. One of the paramount prayers is the prayer for peace of St. Francis. I wouldn't be as faith-grounded, connected to Franciscan tradition, active in community, but for the FSPA affiliation. It's a perfect pairing or a launch pad for both work as well as your faith tradition, as well as how you're going to live in your neighborhood or in the greater community. I think the challenge is to be grounded in your faith tradition and then take that out to the broader world. When I initially came in, I was on the county board in human services, so that was part of it. Later on, I became jail ministry. The jail ministry is a nonprofit group in the community, has a board of directors. Each month, someone from the jail ministry organization provides a church service in the women's jail. Relationship building throughout the world, you know, it's certainly the only way we're going to have peace in the world.